these efforts, funding priority research and development projects amounting to 3.9 billion pesos, supporting flagship programs such as the Science for Change program at 737 million pesos, and the Balik Scientist program at 109 million pesos, and providing scholarships for 65,097 science and technology scholars amounting to 8.3 billion pesos. We look forward to hearing how these allocations will translate into measurable outcomes, how many industries will be supported, how many jobs will be generated, how many innovations will move from research to commercialization, and how many young Filipinos will be empowered to become future-ready scientists, engineers, and innovators. As we deliberate on the proposed budget of the Department of Science and Technology, this committee seeks a clear direction in how the DOST will continue to align its programs with the National Socio-Economic Agenda and the Philippine Development Plan for 2023 to 2028, ensuring that every peso invested in science, technology, and innovation becomes a catalyst for inclusive development and a more resilient nation. On that note, before we proceed, before I recognize Secretary Solidum to deliver the presentation for DOST, may I acknowledge the presence of the Vice Chairperson of the Committee on Appropriations, who will be sponsoring the budget of the DOST and the attached agencies, the Honorable Loreto Amante.
Thank you, Madam Chair, at magandang hapon po sa ating po lahat.
You're in very capable hands po with Kong Amante. Yes,
One
po.
question. How long will the presentation take?
Secretary Solidum, if you may po.
Mahab 70 slides po eh, but we can fast track it.
Yeah, because a lot of us have to go to other committee meetings, like energy is on right now. Is it possible to forgo the presentation?
My apologies po, Congressman Mark Coangco. We'd have to, it's part of our procedure that we give the agency time to present.
Okay.
There are also, there's a framework that we've sent to them, very important for the discussion, accomplishments, and then budget utilization report and proposals for 2026.
Okay,
So my apologies po, it's a very critical part.
My idea.
Thank you very much, Chair Mark. Thank you po. We'd also provide copies to the members of the presentation, just in case you won't be able to stay for the whole presentation of the DOST family po.
It's important for me to be able to ask a few questions and to make a few comments. Then I can leave without seeing the presentation. If you will allow that, Madam Chair.
I think we can go directly, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I think because others really are going to meetings, if we can just have the few highlights of the DOST and then go to the budget, because we're interested to know how much the budget this year and going to next year comparatively also. And then after that, we'll allow the Honorable Mark, or you want to ask now, because I think
It's up. It is up to the wisdom of the
Yes.
chair.
Actually, I would have to respectfully decline on the suggestion to forego the presentation altogether. Perhaps the best I can do is, with the indulgence, of course, of Secretary Solidum, if we may have a kind of a high-level, more abbreviated version of the presentation, if we may go straight to the requests of the committee for you to present, which include essentially the main the physical accomplishments, the target versus the actual, especially in terms of the utilization for each of the different projects, and then of course the proposal for 2026 in terms of components and percentages, as well as if in case there are shortfalls in budget utilization from the previous year, what are essentially what are the reasons behind it, and ano po yung catch-up plan ng DOST. So siguro po, given that we've been furnished with the copy of the 70 slides, we can go through that po. But perhaps if you can please brief the committee on the high level items and matters that we've requested on our invitation letter. Thank you very much, po, Secretary.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and honorable members of the House of Representatives. Thank you for hearing us today. Just to give you a background, under this current administration, the DOST will focus on 4 strategic pillars that would really respond to what is needed by every human being. The first is to promote human well-being, to have longer and better quality of life. The second is to create wealth out of our research and development and application of science, technology, and innovation, and to protect that wealth because we are an archipelagic country frequently visited by natural hazards and to be affected by climate change. Institutionalize sustainability, as most of the wealth that we create come from our natural resources, and make sure that smart applications are operated at the local level so that we can improve the governance and the economy of every local government unit. So with that introduction, Madam Chair, let me just go over some of the things that we have done very quickly. Next slide, please. So we are addressing food security, and right now we are implementing the smarter approaches to reinvigorate agriculture as an industry, and this will be operated at the regional level starting this second quarter, and there will be a national hub to operate smart agriculture. Next slide. We also have applications done, including artificial intelligence, and these artificial intelligence activities will now be focused on developing an AI center to democratize the use of AI, and it will be providing AI as a service for micro, small, and medium enterprises. Next slide. We are very proud of our smart agriculture, especially on the aqua industry, as we have been providing our MSMEs with technologies that use Internet of Things and artificial intelligence that would really promote increased productivity. Next slide. We are using robots and smart technologies to improve agricultural productivity. Next slide. This is very interesting, as many of our surplus commodities are sometimes put to waste. So we developed a mobile food processing facility in a truck. And we have provided this in 5 areas where you put the raw material inside and it will come out as a processed food already. So it will not really, it will address the surpluses of many of our farmers. Next slide. This one would look into improving sugarcane production, and we have done research on African swine fever, and right now we have designed a possible vaccine for ASF. That would mean our partners in this. Next slide. Sige, next slide na lang. On health and nutrition, we have produced products that are nutritious and are being provided now through the SWD for our displaced kababayans during calamities, and also for the school feeding program. Next slide. Of course, we do the National Nutrition Survey. Next slide. We also develop many things on the Virology and Vaccine Institute, which has recently been passed in the House. And so we are preparing our researchers on the viruses that affect humans, plants, and animals. Next slide. I-forward na lang natin kasi masyadong marami. Next. Okay, yung access to clean water, I think many of you would be appreciative of this as we are developing a Filipino-made desalination facility that can produce 30 to 40 liters per hour. And to save on energy, we have a version of a solarized desalination facility, and this will now be field tested. On the upgraded emergency water disinfection system, or Safe Waters, this has been placed as public good, so anyone can actually manufacture it and provide our communities with safe waters for drinking. Next slide. On scholarship, it would be good to note that the Philippine Science High School now would be providing more than 10,000 scholars, and with the additional 10 campuses soon, it will be definitely at least double this. But I think the main issue now for us, Madam Chair, is to increase the stipend for our Philippine Science High School students, because these have not increased for the past 10 years. Next slide. We are also making sure that our scientists from abroad are actually able to help us in our work in the Philippines. And we have hired science and technology fellows to augment our research and development capability. Next slide. Now, to create wealth, we have the Small Enterprise Technology Upgrading Program. In 2024, we have assisted more than 20,000 firms, and by the first half of 2025, more than 8,000 firms have been assisted. And this funding would cover any area where we think our MSMEs need assistance, where we provide financing, technical guidance, and of course, we handhold them in their effort. Next slide. The other support is through the Technology Innovation and Commercialization Program and the Expanded Venture Financing Program by the Technology Application and Promotion Institute. Next slide. Okay, we also have 95 technology business incubation hubs all over the country. Next slide. And we have provided funding to 91 startups as of July 2025. Next slide. Now, one of the important concerns that we have is to make sure that science and technology is inclusive. So for GIDA areas, we have this project called Community Empowerment Through Science and Technology, where 744 communities were assisted as of 2024, and the first half of 2025, 401. We also have a program to reintegrate our OFWs through the iForward Philippines program, where we provide business training and technology guidance and co-fund the possible business that will be created out of this. Next slide. It would also be good to inform the members of the Congress that starting this year, we are promoting the universities and colleges to be ecozones through knowledge, innovation, science, and technology parks. And as of now, we have had the De La Salle University as the first KISS Parks for this year. Next slide. We promote the quality of our products by providing laboratory support all over the country. Next slide. We are providing different regions with Metals and Engineering Innovation Hub to support our schools and our fabricators, and to make sure that 3D printing is available in all regions. We have been setting up advanced manufacturing centers in all regions of the country. Next slide. Next. Of course, we provide support to our inventors through provision of support to their products and holding of invention contests and sending them to competitions globally. Next slide. Next. Because Congressman Rufus mentioned about the Guinness Book of Records for bamboo, we have a bamboo R&D program which would involve an integrated program from production to value addition, and that would focus on textile, engineered bamboo, furniture, and many other things.
Barong.
Yes, sir. Barong, bamboo barong. Next slide. For other wood products. We are producing fragrances and other creative products out of this, including the development of Silyang Pinoy, which is good for DepEd. Next slide. Next slide. Textile innovation is very important. We have been establishing textile innovation hubs all over the country as part of a circular economy effort that can use bamboo, abaca, pineapple, banana waste for textile. We are also producing silk out of these innovation hubs. Next slide. Next. We're now also moving into non-wearables also. And of course, we wanted to promote our local shoe industry. Next slide. Next. Sige na. Okay. This one is very important. The challenge for us is to cross the valley of death for technology production versus commercialization. And one of the problems that we encounter is the lack of investments for our technology products. So we created this program, Propel, where we will support the interaction between technology producer and investors and capitalists by providing services including legal, global market intelligence, and the use of AI to really improve the development of enterprises in the country. Next slide. For wealth protection, we need to make sure that our PAGASA and FIVOX are equipped so that we can monitor the different hazards that will affect the country. Next slide. We are now using artificial intelligence for weather forecasting. Next slide. We are also into restoration of Doppler weather radars that are already old or affected by disasters. One, for example, is Iloilo Doppler radar, and we are waiting for the arrival of the instrument so that we can operate it again. Next slide. For volcano, earthquake, and tsunami monitoring of FIVOX, we have increased our monitoring stations every year. And with the FIVOX Modernization Act, we hope that we can fast-track the deployment of more instruments. Next slide. Next slide. Okay, next slide. Now, another important effort is to institutionalize sustainability, not only for the protection and management of the environment, but to sustain our efforts, meaning the scientific community's effort. We are developing smart and sustainable communities all over the country, at least one pilot per province. So far, we have 91 LGUs, and we are very happy that local governments are now working with us to apply smart technologies to improve their governance and address their basic problems in the localities. Next slide. One of which is the use of modern geospatial and artificial intelligence tools to really help prepare the different communities for advanced governance. Next slide. We have various technologies for adoption at the community level, like the floating solid waste collector, which can gather, like for example, water hyacinth with a speed of 8 cubic meters per 2 meters, 2 minutes. Next slide. Next. Okay, of course, we go to the community to make them ready for disasters. Next slide. We are into promotion of activities as we go around all the regions to promote science and technology and innovation products. Next slide. Next. One of the programs that we are developing is the Geospatial Analytics and Technology Solutions Program, which is a combination of GIS and artificial intelligence to put all data in digital format and map out all the activities that we are doing in the country. Once we are able to show that we can operate it at our department level, we can share this with other government agencies so that we can really map out all the projects that we have in the country. Next slide. Next. Next. Sige. Ay, papabalik. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the House of Representatives for supporting us in the 4 bills that were already passed: the FIVOX Modernization Act, the Virology and Vaccine Institute of the Philippines, the Philippine National Nuclear Energy Safety Act, and the expanded Philippine Science High School system. We are happy that the National Measurement Infrastructure System Act was approved here in Congress, but it was not able to pass the Senate, and we would like to propose this because this will really improve our trade, as the infrastructure for standards, quality assurance would be needed, and we hope that we can get the support of Congress here. Next slide. So for this year, we have 30.39 billion as per NEP. Next slide. And out of this, 19% would be for PS, 71% for MOE, and 10% for capital outlay. Next. Per strategic pillar, the biggest chunk will be focused on human well-being promotion at 43%. For wealth creation, 19%. For wealth protection, 13%. For sustainability, around 6%, and for strengthening DOST's governance in terms of digital transformation, we have 20%. Next slide. So the financial accomplishments for 2024, 27.8 billion was our total funding. We have 95% utilization as to obligation and 89% to disbursement. And currently, we are in the past the middle of the year. We have 29 billion allotment, and so far we have 49% disbursement as to obligation and 82% to disbursement. Next slide. So yun po, maraming salamat, Madam Chair. Thank you for the rush.
Thank you very much, Secretary Tisolidum. Siguro po, if I may ask po, Doc, Sec, yung, yung question lang po namin, ano po yung shortfall ng 11% dun po sa BUR for 2024? Where is the shortfall coming from? Because,
Continuing, may continuing pa kami.
So we do expect that the remaining 11% will be consumed. Has it been utilized in the first part of 2025?
It's being utilized and it's getting smaller. So we have to use it up by the end of the year.
Okay, sounds good. Yun lang po siguro yung nag-stand out sa akin in terms of the BOR. Thank you po, Secretary Solidum. We'll turn it over to Vice Chair Loreto Amante to facilitate the interpellations from the members. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. The committee invites questions from the members, particularly on utilization of previous budget and proposed allocation for fiscal year 2026. Secretary Renato Solidum Jr. and his team are requested to provide a necessary clarification to respond directly to the issues at hand to ensure that this committee and the public following this proceeding are fully informed of the anticipated impact of the proposed budget of the DOST and its attached agencies. May I remind our distinguished colleagues that each member is allotted 5 minutes for questioning or interpellation, excluding the response of the resource persons. When you hear the first bell, it indicates that you have 30 seconds left to conclude your questions. The second bell signifies the lapse of your allotted time. In accordance with the long-standing and respected tradition of the House of Representatives to accord preferential treatment to the minority members, followed by the independent and majority members in an alternating manner, the Chair now recognizes from the minority, Honorable Chel Jokno.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon to everybody. My question is directed to Secretary Solidum. Given my background in justice and human rights, I'm particularly interested in the initiatives that the DOST is taking insofar as strengthening our forensic science capability. I understand that that is one of the thrusts of your, in terms of research, given your harmonized national research and development agenda. Gusto ko lang po malaman in terms of your budget for this year, for 2026, I mean, what initiatives are you undertaking in this direction?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Honorable Congressman. The projects are proposal-driven, but I'd like to ask Dr. Paringet, who is in charge of this area, for the details. So we're helping PNP and University of Cordilleras, and of course, UP Diliman as well. Next.
Good afternoon po, Representative Baljok. No? Doon po sa forensic science lab, we are actually supporting a laboratory on forensic science. It is going to mainly help our criminology students as well as PNP, our PNP officers conduct investigation. So this through some kind of a simulation laboratory where they can actually do forensic investigation. That's the first project. There's a second project that we supported in a university in Mindanao, which actually also tries to, of course, support to conduct forensic investigation using, of course, DNA analysis. I could not recall the exact university that's doing this. Sultan Kudarat, SKSU po, Sultan Kudarat State University. This year we are actually calling for another set of laboratories, this time to support crime scene investigation. But unfortunately, upon review of the professionals in the field, including PNP, we even sought one balik scientist from the New York State University. Hindi po pumasay. So we need to handhold these universities in order for them to get ready to propose a decent project to establish a forensic laboratory. But it's not just about doing forensics per se, it's also about doing research and development po. It means they have to develop techniques that are more apt or appropriate for Philippine conditions. Kasi po kung minsan ang mga ginagamit nating conventions on investigation as well as for basis for forensic analysis ay galing po sa labas. Kung minsan po hindi po yun appropriate sa atin. That's why we're strongly supporting itong mga projects na ito. Thank you po.
That's very good to hear, especially now with developments, for example, like the discovery of remains in the Taal Lake and our capabilities in terms of identifying the persons from whom those came from. I understand as well that there is a National Forensics Institute project that was announced last year through UP Manila and the executive secretary. But I'm wondering if your department has any involvement in this?
I do not recall, Honorable Congressman, but we're in touch with several of the leading forensics because they're also part of the National Academy of Science and Technology. Maybe Dr. Montoya would have some background on this.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Your Honor. As part of the forensics program, we have actually provided support for a number of important projects, among which is the very basic foundation of establishing the DNA structure of Filipinos. So we call it the Filipino Genomics Program, or the Filipinome. We've already actually banked 1,000 DNA from unrelated Filipino individuals, including IP communities. And this will provide a base for any diagnostics that will be emanating or be developing in the future. We've also helped the forensics program in UP Diliman for the sexual assault investigation kit, which is now in the process of being commercialized. And this is actually a locally developed kit that will enable investigators to actually get properly collected samples and process them in order to find the perpetrators or the people responsible for such assaults, among others. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. That's probably the DNA analysis laboratory at the University of the Philippines. I'm familiar with that, and I've worked with Dr. Cora de Ungria Yes, we've done some projects before. But looking at the membership of that National Forensics Institute project, parang wala po kayo doon. But I think it would be an endeavor that perhaps you should be participating in. We'll see if we can find a way to get you involved in that. Let me just say that I fully support the strengthening of forensic science in our country. It's something that our justice system and human rights system needs, and I hope that you can do a lot in this direction.
Yes, Your Honor. There are many things that can be done. I'm a geologist, so while I was studying in the U.S., I have my classmates. I have one classmate, an American, become a forensic geologist because you can trace where the crime happened.
Yes.
Kung may nasingit na buhangin o bato sa sapatos, madaling malaman kung saan yung provenance ng pinanggalingan. So there are many things that can be done.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. No more questions.
Okay, thank you. Next from the list, from the majority, Vice Chair Rufus Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would have yielded to my good friend Chairman Marco Juanco, but I'm catching a flight at 6 o'clock tonight. So my heart is beating because of the traffic. I might miss it. And we cannot miss that because tomorrow is the feast day of St. Augustine, the patron saint of Cagayan de Oro. So, Mark, ano muna ko ha? Because I would have given it to you. First of all, may I greet our Dr. Renowned Scientist, Secretary Renato Solidum Jr. and all our USEC and ASEC and directors, and of course the attached agencies, my friends. And of course, the outstanding regional director of Region 10, Romel Rahilla over there. Secretary Solidum has always been coming. He is the secretary to me who has the most number of visits to Region 10 and Cagayan de Oro for very, very important projects for the good and the benefit of Region 10 and Cagayan de Oro. Example, he was with us in the Cagayan de Oro River Basin Flood Forecasting and Warning Center. Thank you, Secretary. Next, we were all present in Misamis Oriental, the Regional Meteorology Laboratory groundbreaking. What a very good action on the part of establishing this on the part of the OST. Then Handa Pilipinas Innovations, we were there, launching it at Atrium. And then the National Science, Technology and Innovation Week 2024. I have to say this because we are very grateful, really, to our secretary for being there. And because he's there, I'm also always there for him. And the last one is the Guinness World Record for most people planting bamboo. I was with the secretary planting bamboo together with the officials of Cagayan de Oro and myself. So I am just here really to thank the secretary and the DOST and all the attached agencies. And for example, he mentioned, Mr. Chairman, he mentioned projects which are very effective in Cagayan de Oro. For example, the setup. The setup has proven effective in empowering MSMEs through technological intervention and productivity enhancement. Many have been assisted by Director Latilla over there. And so we have this letter to increase the funding for Cagayan de Oro because it is the seat of Region 10. So that is the message. Second, you have given us about more than 100. This is very important. Portable solar drying trays. They were so happy, our fisher folks, for their fish, and our farmers for their products. They are able to have therefore a portable solar dryer. And so we thank you for the secretary, and again, an additional funding and the giving of more portable solar. And this is the one now which our students are waiting for in Cagayan de Oro. This is the 21st Century Learning Environmental Model Project. We have already the site. It's a very good area, agriculture and quite far, but it will help the community there. And then we also have the solid waste segregation and material recovery facility And then finally, the increased budget for research and development under GIA because we have the local innovation ecosystem to support. So this has been given to the office, to you, to Secretary, and we ask for your support in having more budgets for this. But I am here because I support not only your present budget, but I am here to be able to ask you, what else would you need? So that this committee will be able to augment, because, you know, science and technology and research, these are the ways to go. So we ask the Secretary now, what else would you think should supplement your budget so that our committee, with the distinguished chairman here, Chairman Amben here, will be able to work out for you in the plenary?
Thank you, Your Honor. Actually, there's a lot, but let me just mention 5.
The priority ones are not so big because of the fiscal space. So something manageable. Thank you.
Okay. Now, the real game changer for our country is the use of digital technology and artificial intelligence. So you'd want to really have at the department level, led by the Office of the Secretary, the improvement in our computerization, which is around 627 million, the support to local government units for the Smart and Sustainable Communities program. Of course, your city is part of the pilot, around 372. I mentioned already the increase in the stipend of our PSI scholars. 10 taon na daw po na hindi na dadagdagan. So, kulang po yun. Yung iba sa amin ay nagpipits in na para lang matulungan yung ating mga kababayan. This is 413 million. Yung artificial intelligence R&D program po, because we plan to democratize the use of AI for at the regions, around 200 million, and the technology transfer program, which is really a must for us to export our product, around 200 million. So, yun po ang aming priority. We will just write it.
Very reasonable, and with this enumeration of the priority programs, can you kindly submit to the committee, because we will try our best that we are able to add on, because we believe that your department is very, very important to the Filipino people. So, Mr. Chairman, as I end, let me just state that in the proper time, this representation will move not only for the approval of the budget under NEP, but for its augmentation, so that we can have the Department of Science and Technology proceed to higher grounds and give our development to our people. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Permission to leave, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah. Thank you for the generous gentleman from Cagayan de Oro, Congressman Lupos Rodriguez. Next on the list, Representative Reneco.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon to my distinguished colleagues. Yes, hello. And of course, our distinguished guests from the Department of Science and Technology. Bilang miyembro ng kabataan and also bilang recipient ng essentially science high school curriculum, galing po akong Manila Science, no? Of great concern ng mga kapwa-scholar ng bayan namin is yung release ng DOST scholarship funds. No, ito po yung laging kada buwan yung alanganin ng kabataan na gustong paglingkuran ang bayan gamit ang kaalaman nila sa agham. So, we've noted po na for 2020, the DOST SEI Science and Technology Scholarship Program budget is increasing only by 136.2 million. So that's less than 2% increase. And some graduate scholars have reported that they have limited funding na for scholarships. Is this 2% increase sufficient to expand the reach and quality of scholarship programs po?
Okay, can I ask Director JL Cornelio for the response?
I'm not sure it is working. Hello, Congresswoman. Thank you so much for that question. No, we really appreciate it, and we acknowledge the concern that you have for our scholars, for our students. Let me answer by your question by saying that we have the desire to continue increasing the number of our scholars. This year alone, we have accepted 10,907 undergraduate scholars out of 95,000 examinees. So that's not a lot. Of course, in total, if you look at the number of our scholars from undergraduate to PhD, we have about 55,000. So from that point of view, the magnitude, it looks big. But of course, we are very much open, and we continue to strive to increase the number of our scholars because we know that certain other areas are still underserved, and we would like to support those areas. I hope that answers the question.
And thank you very much. And syempre kami, sinusuportahan din namin yung pag-increase ng mga DOST scholars. My next line of questioning po would be about yung delays in the receiving po ng mga stipends. Ito po ay same line of questioning as last year as well, no? And in 2024, ang proposal po ni Secretary Solidum ay mag-propose po ng core group, no? Creating a core group in every university composed of DOST employees to directly disperse stipends. Ano pong status ng proposal ngayon? Na-implement po ba siya?
Good. Thank you so much again. Again, that's another important question. And I'm pleased to tell you, Congresswoman, that we have addressed this issue. What we did was, apart from creating core groups in universities, PUP for example, apart from creating those core groups in different universities around the country, the truth is that we have also revisited our scheme. Previously, the setup was SEI would disburse or download the funds to the regions or the universities, and then the regions or the universities would be the one to download the funds to the land bank accounts of our scholars. So that's quite a long route. This year, I am pleased to share with you and with all the members of our committee that this year we have implemented a new scheme. Ano yung bagong scheme na yon, Congresswoman? The idea is for us to directly release the funds to our scholars from SEI to their land bank accounts. We implemented this in January this year, and I'm pleased to share with all of us here in this committee that, but according to our reports, the second quarter, out of our 9,000 scholars sa NCR, we pilot tested the whole new setup dito sa NCR, only 1% were delayed. So out of 9,000 scholars, 69 lamang ang delayed. And the delay was not caused by SEI or by the universities. Primarily, it was because of delays in the submissions of the documents. So we have tremendously improved the situation. And from August onwards, the new setup is going to be implemented across the country for all undergraduate scholars. By January next year, the same setup will be implemented for our graduate scholars. The system is working, and we have evidence to prove it.
Thank you for that update, Mr. Chair. But to clarify po, no, this is not the same as yung core group na na-discuss po last year? Or
May mga assigned, Madam, Your Honor, may mga assigned kasing tao na rin sa university. So, that would be okay, but the fastest route now is the direct payment. Ang kailangan lang, siguraduhin ng core group na nagsasubmit ng requirement yung mga estudyante.
Okay.
Yun po nagkakaproblema tayo doon.
Okay, so it's no longer parang from the core group, doon bubungkos yung mga submissions. They are parang implementors or nag-i-ensure ng ano.
That's right, that all the documents are submitted to them. Tapos ang mangyayari kasi yung core group or our coordinators, they will be the ones to submit to us the payroll. That payroll is the official list of our ongoing scholars, eligible scholars for that semester. So sometimes nandun ang bottlenecks, but again, as far as our experience in NCR is concerned, we're very pleased to see that the improvement is so significant.
Okay. Ang concern din in previous years na is yung bureaucracy, yung the layers po that the funding has to go through, the requirements have to go through para makuha lang ng scholars yung stipend nila every month or so. So yung proposal po and yung ini-implement nating core group, hindi po ba ito, in your experience, expansion ng bureaucracy or adding administrative costs?
May I answer? The answer. Thank you again, Congresswoman. The quick answer is no, kasi the systems are already in place. And ang hinihingi lang naman ng SEI generally as yung certificate of employment, yung grades nila, just to see from our point of view that this is still an eligible scholar. And it's the core group or it's the committee, it's our coordinators who run this, who do it on our behalf. Some of them are on the payroll of SEI, some of them are employed by the universities in partnership, obviously, with the university. So, is there a bureaucracy, additional bureaucracy there? No.
Actually, Madam Chair, if I may, nakat na yun. Instead na paikot-ikot pa, diretso na sa, yung cut na cut talaga yung sa bayad. Talagang yun yung pinakamaganda doon. Hindi na dadaan sa core group, diretso na sa bata.
Thank you for that update. In relation din po dito, as discussed also last year, COA has pointed out that there are a lack of standardized guidelines for fund disbursement. May na-issue na po ba ang DOST na clear uniform policy to address yung lack of standardized guidelines for fund disbursement, which is the reason kung bakit some universities may delay?
Yes, totoo. Again, a wonderful question, ma'am. Earlier this year, we convened all the different scholarship coordinators we have from different parts of the country. Ginawa namin ito sa undergraduate, ginawa rin natin ito sa ating graduate programs. And that was exactly to do what you just said, ma'am, to simply make sure that everybody is aware of our new policies. Lalo na dito sa bagong protocol that we have, yung direct disbursement of their stipend directly from our SEI to their land bank accounts. So yes, the answer is yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. And tama po, no, sabi niyo po, January next year, maaasahan natin yung rollout ng direct disbursement from SEI to the bank accounts of our scholars directly.
We've already implemented it
In NCR.
sa NCR January to June, August for this current semester for the rest of the country, undergraduate, January next year for the graduate scholars.
Thank you very much. For the next question po, I'd like to ask about the actual utilization rate of the science and technology scholarship funds. Out of the amounts po released to universities, how much has been fully liquidated and accounted for?
Budget utilization. Let me just answer that first. So last year, I'm pleased to share with you that our budget utilization rate was 92%, and this year, thus far, from July, the latest is 57%. So and we're progressing. We're expecting to utilize all the funds by the end of the year. Yes.
Ayun. Thank you very much po doon sa updates. Actually, sa discussion po on this item, nagdaos po ng consultation yung Kabataan Party List in relation po sa mga DOST scholars na though syempre natutuwa kami doon sa implementation ng mga updates na na-share ninyo, ay nakakaranas pa rin sila ng delays. No? Nakakaranas din sila ng kakulangan ng pondo in relation doon sa mga pangailangan ng pag-aaral nila sa mga science courses. So kasi katotoo rin naman na kahit papaano na maraming mga hinihinging pondo, no, para sa araw-araw na paggana in relation to lab fees and etc. So I'd like to share po yung findings na yon sa inyo at a later time. No?
Just very, very quickly, thank you so much for bringing that up, ma'am. It's an effort on our part too. Gusto talaga nating ma-increase, for example, yung stipend ng mga bata. From BS, MS to PhD, we do have plans. And hopefully the committee can also assist us in this regard.
Dahil nag-bell na po,
Yes.
siguro ayos mag-second round na lang po for my next parts of my questioning. So thank you very much, Mr. Chair, for the indulgence.
Okay,
I yield the floor.
thank you, Representative Ko. Now, next on the list from the majority, Representative Marco Wangko.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The secretary and I have known each other for quite some time. He was still head of PhilVox when we started interacting. And at that time, it had to do with nuclear power. Well, today my concerns are still about nuclear power. Mr. Secretary, do you remember 3 years ago, on the first budget session of the 19th Congress, with your agency what was my request from DOST.
For the uranium o thorium, that's what my recollection.
My request po from you for the DOST, I questioned why you were not more active in espousing the benefits of nuclear power. I said there are incontrovertible things. I even gave you a letter with a list of incontrovertible things you could say that were good about nuclear power. And you talked about wealth preservation. I think one of the biggest hindrances to wealth creation in the country is electricity being too expensive, so that our country is bypassed as an investment destination. So would there be a change in DOST's attitude? Could you not take a stronger lead in your commentary or the department's commentary about the benefits of nuclear power to the country?
In many of the discussions that we were talking about the crucial role of energy in revitalizing many of the industries, we have been mentioning options such as nuclear power and aside from renewable. And with this effort, we've been sending scholars as well to really prepare us for the use of nuclear energy for power to various universities abroad. And that is why we always say that if you look at the energy requirement of many industries that initially we were supporting, like minerals industry, processing, indeed nuclear energy is as an option that we should look into.
I see a lack of proactive engagement by the DOST. For example, DIC Secretary Henry Aguda recently stated that he's studying the conversion of the PNPP-1 nuclear plant, which is 100% complete, completely paid for, extremely well built, to convert it into a data center. I think that the problem of data centers in the Philippines is the lack of cheap electricity. Why didn't the department comment about his statement and say na, no, we should not convert it into a data center. We should run it as a nuclear plant so that it could power many data centers, Your Honor.
It was never officially discussed, although I know that the Department of Energy Secretary mentioned that they're looking at the Bataan nuclear plant, not for data center, Your Honor.
Okay, so that's good to hear. I would like, this representation would like to see the department more proactive in its statements about the positivity of nuclear power in the light of a change in attitude in America, Europe, and the rest of the world, positive change regarding the use of nuclear power. So it brings me to my parochial concern. My town, a town in my district, Labrador, Pangasinan, has given social license to the construction of nuclear power. Unfortunately, the North Zambales fault line passes nearby Labrador. I'm not concerned because in the Pacific Rim of Fire, which includes the Diablo Canyon nuclear plant in California, where the San Andreas fault passes nearby, they built a nuclear plant there to 0.4G seismic design basis. After the plant operated, they discovered a branch of the fault which passed near the plant. So subsequently, they upgraded the seismic basis to 0.7G. And I learned later on that even in Japan, up to 1.0G was used as seismic design basis for several plants. And so we want to do a seismic and meteorological site study for Labrador. It costs money, Mr. Secretary. I have here other towns which want nuclear. So we are talking of Labrador, Pangasinan, in Isabela, the towns of Makunakon and Divilican, and in Mindoro, Sablayan, in Masbate, Aroroy, and in Sorsogon. I have not spoken to to Senate President Chief Escudero yet, but I'm meeting him tonight. Can we have a budget to locate the seismic station and weather station to give us data, enough data, at least a year's worth of data, so that when we finally make a report about the suitability of these sites, we have enough data to be credible, Mr. Secretary.
Yes, Your Honor, we can ask the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology to install sensors that would actually detect ground vibration.
Yes, Mr. Secretary, I would suggest that we do an independent study of FIBOX so that FIBOX will not be the subject of controversy later on. Baka maipit po politically. So maybe we can hire an independent engineering study group to do that, Mr. Secretary.
If it's an R&D assessment and they have the required credential, but I would still
We have a balik scientist, sir,
yeah.
in the name of Dr. Art Romero, who's a geologist.
Yeah.
Maybe you could talk to him. He has some ideas about this.
So it can be done, Your Honor, through a proposal.
Yes, and then I'd also like to say that DOST has helped me a lot in the past. Project Dream, especially the LiDAR data. Engineer Enrico Paringit is sitting there. He has helped this representation a lot in the past. I think that data is very useful for flood planning, for everything we've been seeing in the newspapers. It is underutilized, and that is why we continue to have these problems. Last statement, Mr. Chairman, give me a minute. This representation has an aspiration for at least 16,000 megawatts of nuclear online by 2045. The basis of that is the current 65% imported coal for electricity, amounting to around the same 16,000. NEDA said, or DepDev now said, we need to double our capacity by 2040 and up to triple our capacity by 2040. That means that 16,000 to 32,000 megawatts of nuclear is conservative. Please review that, and please be proactive in your messaging to the public about nuclear. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, Representative Marco. Before we continue, I would like to acknowledge the presence of one of our vice chair, Nicky Briones. He is one of the sponsors of DOST. Thank you.
Thank
And
you,
also-
Mr. Chair, for
And also, I would like to acknowledge the presence of another vice chair, Vice Chair Reynan Arrogancia, Vice Chair Romel Angara, and of course, our Deputy Majority Leader, Howard Ginto, Deputy Majority Leader Jam Baronda, Representative Emerson Pascual, and of course, Vice Chair Roger Mercado. Okay, now we will continue. Since there's no interpellator for minority, we will now proceed to majority. Next on the list is Deputy Majority Leader Howard Ginto.
Mr. Chair, distinguished colleagues, DOST family, good afternoon. First and foremost, no, I would like to congratulate the DOST for steering future-ready programs. Last month po, no, nagpunta ako sa inyong regional office dito po sa Iloilo. Na-meet ko po yung engineer, RD director niyo po, si Engineer Rowen. No, sa totoo lang po, aminado po ako, hindi po ako masyadong familiar sa DOST, no, at sa mga nagagawa po ng DOST. Dahil karamihan po talaga pag nasa kongreso at saka sa agricultural na ang parating pinupuntahan namin, DAR, DNR, puro yun po, no? So, talagang na-amaze po ako sa dami ng mga programa ng ating ahensya. Ang tanong ko po is, yung pinakita po natin mga programs for food security, kagaya po nung, ano po ito yung Lorowan base pond water supply, o kaya po yung Smart Aqua Farm Feeder. Marami po kayong mga programa for food security. Papaano nyo po ba pinipili ang munisipyo o probinsya kung saan nyo pinapilot run itong mga programa nyo?
Thank you for the question, Your Honor. Essentially, we start with research and development. Once it's perfected, anyone can now use the technology, especially the mga MSME or mga farmers or cooperatives. So then, ang ginawa po natin to really apply this in a wider scale, we have a program on applying smart agriculture to all regions of the Philippines so that we can really scale up the effort in the use of smart agriculture for both land and water-based agriculture.
Meron din po kayo isang programa, yung Mobile Modular Food Processing Facility. Actually, dito ko lang din po nalaman na yung isa po yung mobile food truck nandun po pala sa aming distrito, no? So, sabi ko nga, baka later on with the help of DOST and yung sa aming mga association, baka mapatakbo po namin at matry po yung inyong napakagandang invention, no? Ang akin lang po, no, baka pwede po na matulungan nyo ang aming probinsya or ang aming distrito kasi po we are supposedly called the seafood capital of the Philippines. Yet currently hindi na po kami nakapag-produce as much as we did before in the first district of Capiz. And aside from which, nagde-decline na rin yung aming aquaculture. So I'm requesting and hoping that we can focus or really provide technology and assessments that will help us revitalize our aquaculture. No? And of course, this will entail help with you the food security programs of our national government.
Yes, Your Honor, we'll coordinate with your office so that we are very eager to also apply the technologies that we have developed. Actually, that's the reason why we decided that DOST regional offices will be working with LGUs to really utilize the smart technologies that we develop. Dati-rati po kasi pinapasa lang namin sa ibang ahensya, kaya lang kung hindi ganun kabilis, nag-decide na po kami na diretsa na kami tutulong with them, with the local government or the cooperatives.
And lastly, no, nakapagbigay din po kayo ng 44 scholars sa aming distrito. So malaking pong pagpapasalamat na sana itulong nyo din. So hopefully po, mas madagdagan po natin yung ating mga scholars kasi malaking tulong po para sa aming mga mangingisda at saka sa aming mga farmers. And with that, Mr. Chair, no, sana po talagang mabigyan natin pa ng karagdagan budget ang DOST, no? Kasi sa tingin ko po, with the additional budget for DOST, mas marami po tayong matutulungan at mas marami po silang mga programa, teknolohiya na maibibigay hindi lang sa ating mga fisher folk, sa ating mga farmers, sa lahatan, no? Malaki po. Kung makikita nyo po talaga yung mga na-design nilang programa, napakalaking tulong din po, hindi lang sa LGU, hanggang sa mga barangay levels, no? So, with that, Mr. Chair, I hope and really manifest that we help DOST for additional budget. Yun lang po, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. May I just say that just for the information of the good congressman, we have another project called Innovative Smart Systems for Data-Driven Agriculture, and Capiz State University is part of our partner. Now, we have 10 million peso project for them.
Thank you, Secretary. That's a big help for our province.
Thank you, Kong Howard Ginto. This Chair recognize from majority, Vice Chair Cha Hernandez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Hello, Mr. Secretary, and to the DOST family. So this year we passed the FIVOX Modernization Act, which allocates over 7 billion over 5 years to strengthen our monitoring and early warning system. So napakaganda po nito, and of course this is a significant step, but as the DOST itself reminds us, the technology alone is not enough. So communities must also be empowered to use this information and be prepared when disasters strike. So it is really encouraging to hear DOST's initiatives in the provinces, yung solar-powered water systems, which we have now as well, Internet of Things, based hazard monitoring in Mindoro, and mobile kitchens that help during calamities. For a barangay as isolated by floods or landslides, this kind of technology can really make or break and make a huge difference. So kami po mula sa bayan ng Calamba, kung saan tayo nagre-representa, apektado po kami tuwing may pagputok o pag-aalboroto ng Taal. Ganon din po kapag may landslide sa Mount Makiling. And so I would like to ask DOST, does the fiscal year for 2026 budget include sufficient funds to accelerate seismic upgrades and early warning systems of FIVOX, especially at the community level? And how much has been allocated for the coming year for localized resilience technologies such as water access systems, weather monitoring, IoTs, or mobile relief kitchens in the most, not just in my district, but of course, lalo na sa mga most vulnerable regions? And third, and lastly, is there funding for disaster preparedness, training, and science-based awareness programs targeted directly at the communities, not just central or regional offices? Mr. Secretary.
Yes, on the FIVOX side, they have a substantial increase this year. Maybe I'll ask Dr. Bacolcol to respond to that question.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Yes, we initially asked for 1.2 billion pesos. That's our proposal, but we were given 987 million, which is 10% higher than what we had this year. So I think that's enough. Although, of course, we didn't get the 1.2 billion, but the 10% increase is good enough for us.
Thank you for the water. Actually, there are various options. Iba-iba po ang modality ng aming pagtulong. One is through research grants for R&D, and we have the Industrial Technology and Development Institute that has developed this safe waters technology that can be given to fabricators all over the country. But there's also the regional offices that can fund, for example, geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas. We have the Community Empowerment through Science and Technology program. This would have 5 entry points. One is disaster and climate resilience. Second is health and nutrition, including water and sanitation. Third is education and literacy. Fourth is entrepreneurship and livelihood. And fifth is environmental management. So kung meron po mga lugar na may kailangan nun, isa doon, nakikipag either yung local government or yung sa representatives makikipag-ugnayan sa amin or yung tao namin mismo ang umiikot kung sino ang pwedeng tulungan. Lalo na kung maraming budget, mas maraming matutulungan. So yan yung modality. We don't have a fixed amount, but it depends on the need as expressed. we also have the Smart and Sustainable Communities program, where we actually can support pilot communities to really find out things. And it's not finalized yet, but we are still preparing another big program for island communities kasi po yung development and problems ng mga isla ay kakaiba. Karamihan po sa kanila ang problema ay tubig. So yung water resource management and water resource sourcing is really an issue. So to address that and develop expertise, we have created the Smart Water Infrastructure Management R&D Center in Isabela State University because marami silang expert doon and they can now cover the whole country and help. So yun po yung aming mga various modalities. Sa mga food naman, ganun din, no? Pwede rin tumulong po ang mga regional and provincial offices.
Another one. Thank you for the response. I'm fully satisfied. Now, in ensuring food security and supporting farmers, and this is the last. So we all know that yun po yung magiging concern, especially with a country that we're affected lagi by all those kinds of climate hazards, di ba po? And we always ask, do we have enough rice? Do we have enough vegetables? And food for everyone. This is why it's not surprising na even 63% of our people said that food security should be the top priority of DOST as per the last, for the recent survey of SWS. And so we hear about the promising initiatives of the department and we laud you for that, such as Elevate Philippines. Launched in 2025, it uses precision farming, digital agriculture, and advanced technologies to ensure sufficient and affordable food for all. But the question from our people remains really simple. How will we fill it, and how will this really support, how will this support truly reach us or the whole nation? And so I would like to ask the DOST of the following. Ano pong portion ng budget ngayon ay ang allocated doon sa agricultural innovation programs? And I would also mention the SKAI PINAS, or Philippine Sky and Crop Disease Detection Tools, which is really needed in our nation. And second, how will the funding be expanding or scaled up to make sure that it benefits not only large farms, but also smallholder farmers and rural communities that really deserve attention?
I will answer first, but I would like to get help from a friend, our chatbot Itanong. I will ask Director Franz to type in the question, the different agricultural projects we have, so that he can provide the details. But let me just ginawa na po namin yung chatbot para sa mga tanong na para lang hindi mahirap magbasa. But for the smart agriculture, 650 million for in the next 3 years po in all the regions of the Philippines. Ang issue kasi is maabot ba ang buong Pilipinas? Hindi namin kayang kami lang. So ang aming ino-offer ay yung technology can be made available for everyone who wants to use the technology. Tulad ng binanggit ni Representative Ginto kanina, available na po yun. Ang kailangan lang namin ay partner LGU at mga cooperative farmer to implement that. Kasi pag smart agriculture na po, hindi na ordinaryong simple farming lang yan.
Yeah.
Dapat consolidated din. But for aqua industry, madali lang. Pero pag land-based, mas mahirap. And for our R&D, we have the Elevate Philippines. Smart agriculture is one of it. So iba pa yung R&D natin doon. Marami po tayong pondo na binabanggit. May sagot na ba si ano? O wala kang connection?
Good afternoon, Mr. Secretary. Yes po, pinapakweli na po natin sa system, and if it's ready, nasa tech booth lang naman po, we can flash yung inquiry. Basically po, we had the DOST and the DOST ASTI. We have developed our chatbot inquiry system, taking inputs from the different information within DOST. So yung such queries, mas mapapadali na po. So using that system, tawag po namin sa kanya, Itanong. Sige po. Tignan po natin kung lalabas po yung sagot po.
Pero-
Kung lumabas na po.
So yung detalye ng chatbot, yung aming Smart Agriculture is funded for 3 years kasi hanggang 3 years lang ako eh. 759 million. Across. For 3 years. Yeah. Hiwalay pa doon sa ano. Hiwalay pa yung ipinapa-operate. Ito R&D pa lang to develop new technologies.
Okay, is that enough for the next 3 years?
Ang challenge po talaga, Your Honor, is the adoption of the technology and actual use of it in farming.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the real
Implementation.
challenge.
So now at least we're beginning to look at it and
Yes.
to avail it. But again, that's it, Mr. Secretary, Mr. Chair, and again, you can count on my support for the budget of the OST family, and if need be na ma-increase, I would fully support it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Kong Cha. Next on the list from Majority, Vice Chair Brian po.
Hi. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair and Secretary. It's good to have you here and the DOST family. I'm very happy to be able to be here and work with you in this capacity. We worked in the past for AI initiatives, and I'm looking forward to discussing that with you today. So I have 2 points for my line of questioning today. Yung una po ay tungkol sa AI, yung pangalawa ay tungkol sa nuclear energy naman. I feel both fall within the purview naman of DOST, no? Mr. Secretary, I just want to ask these questions because I also want to point at opportunities for Congress to fund programs that could possibly help the development and advancement of science and technology here in the Philippines. So with that being said, Mr. Chair and Mr. Secretary, what I know is that China is already investing $9.3 billion into AI. The UK, $4.5 billion. Mr. Secretary, how much exactly are we investing in our AI development here in the Philippines?
Just for DOST, for our operation where we will establish an AI hub which will be a service for our MSME and industry is around 260 plus million. But that's the initial. But we have a list of projects that we have prepared because the President instructed us to develop an AI center in DOST where we already have advanced many of the projects. So it's a lot because we need a data center. But since 2016, when we started AI, we have more than 1.4 billion pesos already for R&D in AI. Director Franz, may I just ask you to briefly mention how much is our projected cost if we develop an AI center, including the data center?
Thank you, Secretary, Your Honor. So thank you for this opportunity to tell more about AI. In our estimate, all in all, let's say from 2025 to 2035, the total is around 9.7 billion pesos po. For this year alone, if I may share, Sir and Your Honor, we are already conducting a big AI program specifically to decentralize and further democratize access. I guess that's one of the problems. In terms of talent and ingenuity, we already have that, and we have proven that many times. The problem is that it's so concentrated in the urban centers. So we want to push that opportunity to the region. So that's what we are starting currently po.
Okay, I want to ask, out of our ASEAN neighbors, which one has an AI center? Do they all have AI centers already?
Ask Director Franz because he's part of the Asian network for AI. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Your Honor, currently Thailand, Singapore, Vietnam, they have a dedicated AI center. So some of them have established these organizations, which are also backed by certain legislation to create an enabling ecosystem for them for AI. Now, each country has their own strategy, of course. depending on their strengths. For example, Singapore can be focusing more on developing applications on, let's say, fintech. Thailand can be focusing more their application on capacity building and also on agriculture. So sila po.
Thank you. The reason why I ask, Mr. Secretary, is I want to know whether or not we're falling behind as compared to our neighbors here in the ASEAN region and Asia in general. Because, of course, many people speculate that this is the next industrial revolution. And of course, we don't want our constituents to end up being end users. We want to be proactive in addressing this change in industry. So, Mr. Secretary, would you be able to comment on this?
If you look at the global ranking, we are 56th. And based on several factors, but on the areas for improvement is the technology production side. We scored lower there. Otherwise, we would have been ranked higher. And this is really from the perspective of what the private sector is doing in terms of technologies being produced related to AI. And this is where effort is now being addressed through upskilling and reskilling of employees within the private sector. And that is part of the national AI strategy to look into how we can shift the focus of current employees to really maximize the use of AI in the private sector as well. On the side of the UST, we will continue developing and funding R&D projects on the application of AI. And of course, one of the crucial things that we need to do is really build a sovereign data for our use, because this is where the advantage would happen, on the use of our own data. And for that to happen, we need to digitize all the data we have, even in government, especially in government and, of course, the private sector.
I agree, Mr. Secretary, regarding the digitization of government resources and data. But moving from AI into nuclear energy as my second topic, currently there's a budget for the Philippine Council for Industry, Energy, and Emerging Technologies, R&D. And I believe that the budget for fiscal year 2026 is about 1 billion pesos, more or less. May I ask if any of this is allocated towards nuclear programs?
Yes, Your Honor. There's a separate agency for the Philippine Nuclear Research Institute, but we are also funding if there are proposals related to nuclear. So may I ask Dr. Paringit, because the question is related to your agency.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. I will turn over the floor to the director of the Philippine Nuclear Research Institute later. But insofar as PSURD is concerned, of course we are managing and as well as supporting also some of the R&D projects related to nuclear. The intention really is to develop the capacity for nuclear science and engineering, because that's what we sorely lack. And as we prepare for our nuclear ambitions, if we may call it, we need to possess the capability to actually operate, develop tools. And that's why we also supported a program, we call it the nuclear new cycle. So it consists of 4 or 5 projects that addresses different aspects of nuclear energy operations, all the way from exploration down to radioactive waste management. And of course, almost all of these are actually being implemented by the Philippine Nuclear Research Institute. In the coming year, we've set aside some funds around, I think the budget for energy in total is something like 100 million, but that includes all of the possible sources of energy. We're also looking into renewables, by the way, but it depends really on the proposals that will become. We are actually expecting PNRI to propose some of their research and development projects related to nuclear technology, and then with some focus on nuclear energy applications, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Congressman Secretary. Yeah, with respect to nuclear, nuclear is not only about nuclear energy. Our biggest budget now for nuclear research is on nuclear medicine. We have a 2.2 billion peso project ongoing to lower the cost of cancer diagnosis, can only be done by nuclear medicine, to lower the cost of PET-CT scans. We have a building being built. We've just bought a cyclotron. The objective of that is to make the cost of cancer diagnosis affordable to Filipinos, because 70,000 Filipinos die every year of cancer because they are diagnosed late, stage 4. To do that at stage 1 and 2, you need PET scans, which are very expensive. So that one is under, we're doing that now. Now, on nuclear energy, the Philippines developed the first subcritical research reactor using trigger fuel, the first in the world. And it was designed and built here in the Philippines. So with this research reactor, we are now able to provide a laboratory for schools that might offer nuclear engineering. So some of these schools include De La Salle and Mapua, and we're offering courses in UP on nuclear engineering courses, but not. And then also there's a development. We have a research partnership with an American company, Valor Atomics, to develop an advanced trisofuel reactor. This is one of the most advanced reactors in the world. In fact, it's being constructed here and also in the U.S. Last month, President Trump wanted to accelerate the construction of advanced reactors because we're talking about AI. AI will need a lot of energy, and many of the companies in the U.S. want their own reactors for their AI operations. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, I ask these questions because ibaba natin ng konti, no? Siyempre, pag nasabi natin nuclear energy, medyo mataas. No, pero when we're talking about energy consumption here in the Philippines and the price of energy here in the Philippines, medyo masakit sa bulsa. So if we can find other alternatives, and we already had the nod from, as you mentioned, the United States to explore nuclear technology, as well as I know there have been programs that we're looking into in terms of modular nuclear energy for far-flung and rural areas na kailangan ng electrification. These are good alternatives, which I believe that government should continue to look into. And Mr. Chair, I also want to bring up that I appreciate the budget season because we get to highlight amazing programs that are being developed by agencies like DOST, like for example this nuclear medicine program that you're working on. Had it not been for this budget hearing, I'm pretty sure many of our colleagues would not even know that we're funding this program and that it will go towards lowering the cost of cancer treatment and advanced cancer detection for many of our constituents. And we know that health is a major problem here in the Philippines, so we want to thank you for that research. But just to wrap up, I hope to be able to work together with DOST, especially for I filed a bill on a AI framework. So hopefully we can work together on the policy regarding that, and of course for further energy solutions for the country. If there's anything that we can work together on, I look forward to working with your offices. Thank you, Mr. Chair. You have the floor.
Thank you, Representative Brian po. Now, next on the list, Representative Tony Roman.
Good afternoon sa pamilya ng DOST, headed by Secretary. Well, first, I want to say, just to reassure you, I'm not going to be as reassuring as Kong Rufus Rodriguez, but I am in support of the DOST because I'm a father to a daughter who's taking up bioengineering in the U.S. So all her life she's been a fan of STEM. She grew up in that environment. It's amazing the amount of support that the government in the United States and also the community gives to STEM. In your assessment here, do you have programs to promote STEM in the academe and STEM careers?
Yes, Your Honor. Unfortunately, we start at the high school level. Now, because that's the only school that is run under, not under DepEd, and that is through DOST. Currently, we are assisting the Department of Education improve the learning performance of students in terms of STEM by integrating new technologies. For example, we are establishing 21st century learning environment model where we actually put in advanced machines, including robots and very nice projector where you can actually draw there to pique the interest of students. Because based on my observation, I've been under public schools except kinder in the Philippines up to college and of course in the US. The education is really to create a more or less inquisitive mind and not memorization. And so to do that, we need to have tools for people. So recently we were in Romblon. We have a partner from the University of the Philippines that developed Visor. It's called Versatile Instrumentation System for Science Education and Research. It's like a laboratory in several boxes, but this big only. And you can do a lot of experiments, physics, biology, that would get the interest of students. Kulang po talaga yung mga laboratory natin. So in one form or another, we're trying to help DepEd here. In terms of the college level, the different councils under DOST have this institution development program. Nagsaset up po kami ng mga laboratories in schools that they wanted to focus on specific fields in STEM. So for example, sa perpetual health, Internet of Things, no? Yung kaninang binanggit sa Sultan Kudarat State University, Lab for Criminology or Forensics. So iba-iba po. But definitely, I would think that we need to really focus on the young ones before we reach the high school level. So we also train DepEd teachers on how to teach science, math, engineering. No, so but definitely we can also add artificial intelligence now in the mix. There is I know that DepEd has a partner to introduce artificial intelligence in both students and teachers, and results are promising. So we're also engaging them.
Mr. Secretary, I appreciate the response. Although it raises a concern, resource limitations. When you think of technology, technology tends to be expensive, right? Ideally, you want to bring science closer to the students. In the absence of that, you have something that is mobile. Yeah, you mentioned earlier. Where are those robots deployed? Are they have they scaled nationwide, especially to provinces? Because this is just my perception, and correct me if I'm wrong. My perception that there's a urban bias. Like a lot of the programs I rolled out in urban centers, not so much in rural areas where intervention is more greatly needed. You know, so can you speak to that?
That's correct. We need to expose students in rural areas. I grew up in John Romblon. It's not an urban area, but because of the laboratories that we have, just even meager ones, so he got interested in science. We're now employing robotics, and there are many other partners po. But tama po kayo. We need to expand these efforts. And DOST alone cannot do it. That's why we're working with DepEd, because it's really their mandate to do that. But we have been working with different universities to use virtual reality or other gadgets that they can just see, so that it can be mobile and applied in other schools. Pero kailangan pang palaguin po yun.
Yung budget your RUBA, does it reflect your sort of like priority with respect to bringing down these programs to provinces? In other words, how much of our budget is dedicated to that?
On the education side, because that's not, we are trying to develop technology to be given to DepEd, but we're trying to showcase this through the 21st century learning environment model. So we're looking for partners with the LGU, and I would like to request SEI director to respond to it because you have more experience on it. Kulang po talaga. Kulang po talaga.
Pilot po natin sa first district ng Bataan, sa Hermosa, Orani, Sabao, Bukay. Pwede naman po yun eh.
Ang naghahanap po kami ng magpa-partner na tataya din para matulungan din natin, para mas mabilis ma-implement. Dr. Cornelio.
Yes, no, Your Honor, thank you so much for bringing that up. We are really interested in setting up more 21st century classrooms, or CLEM, we call them, around the country. To date, we have already about 19 around the country, and we are intending to launch 3 more in the remaining months of the year. Pero, moving forward, we still want to create more of these 21st century classrooms. And for the record, yung 21st century classrooms ng SEI in partnership with DepEd have robotics, augmented reality, and all other facilities that would excite students in the hope that through these classrooms, by using these classrooms, our students are not only interested in STEM, but they also develop what we call 21st century skills. So, partnership, Your Honor, we're interested in having conversations with you later on as to what this partnership might entail. For example, can you help us build a classroom or look for a classroom? Number 2, how about the funding? Now, with respect to, for example, procuring, say, the robotics, the materials, the equipment, and so forth. SEI can provide the necessary technical support to make this happen, and also the training. We have just about 2 weeks ago launched our 19th one in Antipolo, and it was so well received, not just by the local government, but also by our students there.
It will also be well received in the first district of Bataan.
Oh, lovely, sir. The answer is yes.
I just want to say that, again, I go back when hearing this, the response that, I can, parang mga peso, it's going to be expensive, but there are frugal ways of actually pursuing this, but it all starts with a conversation with stakeholders and LGUs. You could, for example, repurpose existing spaces, the mobilize volunteers, leveraging open source tools to democratize access to knowledge and innovation. What is alarming really is we've been all to, we're from different provinces and cities. We know the situation in our communities is the absence of nudges that would actually, pique the interest of people, especially students. We don't have libraries, which brings me to my next point. The DOST is one of the lead agencies implementing the Innovative Startup Act, am I right? And your role in the ISA is, how would you describe that, Mr. Secretary, R&D?
We provide startup grant fund, but there must be an R&D component.
Yes.
To polish the technology. So we've been pretty successful in terms of those that we have assisted. Really is very productive, and so far 95 startups last year. Now for the library that was mentioned, we don't have much physical libraries now. So DOST, since 2 administrations ago, developed this library in a box, or a computer console, where you can actually do the search there already. It has 2 versions, one with electricity, or with internet, one is standalone. So pinapamigay po natin yan sa lahat ng school, and even local government units now are requesting that library, but ang nilalagay po natin ay mga policies, legislations for governance.
The ISA has been in effect for the last 5 years, and we've seen its imperfections. And here's an opportunity to basically assess your performance or your role in the ISA. How would you describe that in the last 5 years? And what are the areas that need improvement, and how have you addressed that funding-wise?
there is no funding for ISA. So we rely on our own funding. So yan po talaga yung nangyayari. It's just attribution. So dahil wala pong funding, we decided that we will have our councils develop a way of providing a grant fund for that, which is essentially taken out of the original funding that we have for grants. But we are not complaining. We are just saying that wala naman separate talaga.
Is the grant fund, has it increased or decreased through the years? So is it remain constant?
Increasing naman po. Increasing, especially so that
But no funding.
ay, walang funding last year.
No, so that's really sad.
Yeah. So,
You share the vision of like having a diverse industries and businesses, correct? And the only way to do that is through startups. Do you share my view that the startups is, has been abused? I mean, a lot of enterprising individuals fashion themselves as startups, but actually they're not.
so that's why we are aware of that. That's why mahigpit po kami sa pipiliin naming startup. Talagang sinusuyod po, meron po kaming committee to evaluate. So, yung ibang mga startups na na-fund ngayon, dati bagsak sa amin. So, pag na-improve na nila, saka pumapasa.
Yung isa pa akong pinag-uutos ng ISA, yung pagtatayo ng innovation hubs. Do we have one? Have we established innovation hubs?
We have different levels of innovation hub. We have set up innovation hubs in provincial science and technology offices of the UST. So far,
57.
we have 57 already out of the target 80. We have a different innovation hub between DOST and PCCI at the national headquarters. It's called DOST PCCI Technology and Business Innovation Hub. So we have different innovation hubs for different concerns like technology business incubation hubs, 95 po yun, 90 plus. And then meron po tayong textile innovation hubs, meron tayong metals and engineering innovation hub, meron po tayong advanced manufacturing or 3D printing innovation hubs.
So would you support the idea of having a multi-purpose learning center that houses both physical, digital, and the innovation hub that is contemplated by ISA?
Definitely. In fact, for example, in the Advanced Manufacturing Center in Taguig, this is the biggest 3D printing facility in the Philippines. It's both a combined hub physically, but since we instituted setting up satellite offices in all the UST regions, pag hindi available yung printer sa region, papadala po digitally yung design, doon na ipiprint sa main center natin. So this is a training center where not only universities come but also the industry would come. So yun po talaga ang ating mga innovation hub. It's a center where both the industry and the academe and of course researchers would go.
I guess the biggest challenge, Mr. Secretary, is making them accessible and within the view of people.
Correct.
So that they can,
Correct, Your Honor. That's why yung Advanced Manufacturing Center natin dati sa Bikutan lang. We decided to bring down the technology to different regions para at least makapunta sa regional offices namin. And then later on, with more money, we can set up in all the provinces in the innovation hubs that we have established para yung prototyping ng mga idea pwede nang gawin sa provincial innovation hub.
Or nuclear terms para modular.
Yes.
Another question that comes to mind is, napag-usapan niyo yung AI. I see that different departments have their initiative with respect to using AI. Do you feel that there has to be like a governing committee that oversees everything and funds it so that everything is coordinated and not fragmented?
Yes, I was instructed by the President to have the UST develop the national AI strategy for the Philippines. It was already approved. So the overall governance will be under the National Innovation Council, but then there are different leads for different components of the project. So for example, for upskilling and reskilling of our current employees in the private sector, we have TESDA, CHED, and the private sector. Of course, civil service will also have the component for government. DOST will focus on talent development, on bachelor's, master's, and PhD, especially on R&D. DICT will focus on infrastructure and governance. The DepDev will focus on policy. And Dole, of course, will go in tandem with TESDA as well.
I raised that question because I filed a bill. It's a data-driven governance in AI Solutions Act. So having National Steering Committee on AI, it's basically trying to fund AI initiatives to boost and help public service. So maybe we can collaborate on that, Mr. Secretary.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I have nothing further. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Representative Aberman. For the second round, from the minority, may I call Representative Reneco? Is she here? No? Now from the majority, Vice Chair Nikki Briones.
Thank you, Chairman. PST family and Secretary Solidom, good afternoon. I would like only to thank DOST family and Secretary Solidom for having a program for our food security, considering that this is our main advocacy of AGAP. May I ask the Secretary, how much is our budget for this program, food security for our people?
Doon po sa application ng Smart Agriculture sa regional operations po, 650 million for 3 years. Yung R&D po sa Smart Agriculture, 700 million plus in the next 3 years. But again, these are to be operated by DOST, but of course, proposals can come in any time of the year, and we evaluate if it can be funded. So dagdag po yun sa nabanggit ko.
Kaya ko lang naman tinanong, gusto ko mas malaki ang budget nyo para sa food security. Kung may magagawa tayo. Then, ang isa sa talagang kailangan namin sa mga agri-sector, yung paano natin tapos yung problema sa ASF. Considering na 200 billion ang nawala na sa industriya namin, itong inyong dinidevelop na locally optimized TOSLOB and BIP Tech diagnostic kits for rapid field-ready ASF virus detection, napaka-importante nito sa amin. Kung nasaan na ba tayo dito sa pagde-develop ng
yung TOSLOB po, sa Bisaya po yung alam niyo, Congressman Mercado yan eh. Dinidi po yan para makuha yung blood at para mabilis. And then yung kanyang partner na rapid, yung PCR detection kit, doon na papasok. So these are already available.
Very good. Thank you. And how about you're developing vaccine?
Naaral na po yung genome sequence nung virus na nagkokos. So tinatapos lang yung partner natin ng building to manufacture. So syempre private sector na po yun eh. So tatapusin lang nila yung building tapos mag-manufacture na sila. And the effort was done by a balik scientist who has now, of course, spend more time in the Philippines than the US, and nag-set up sila ng company to really focus on biosecurity and the development of the vaccine.
Thank you. Very good. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Mr. Chairman. Okay.
This chair recognize Congressman Reneco.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for staying po, no. I just have several questions po in relation po to some programs that you have. Po. Yung isa po dun is yung Dynaslope project. The Dynaslope project po ay nag-maintain ng flat budget of 25.518 million from GAA 2025 to NEP 2026 despite increasing landslide risks, for example, in Baguio City, which displaces families, no. I'd like to ask po, no, why is a program like this critical to disaster preparedness and public safety not receiving additional funding to expand yung operational capacity, better monitoring, and lalo na po, no, last year, this year, bumabaha.
Of course, we do not wish that the funding will decrease. It's not to our desire naman po yon. But let me just pass on the concern to Director Bacolcol. Explain ko lang, framing ko lang ang sagot. When you start a project and you have a lot of infrastructure needed, then you spend a lot. And at some point, talagang babagsak yung budget dyan. Because what you're trying to do now is just maintain the instruments and yung mga community na napasadahan mo na kasi 52 lang naman yon, hindi naman taon-taon pare-pareho ang activity kasi dapat nasanay na sila. So there is a logical explanation naman kung in all projects that's why the funding, if it's operational, will go lower. But let me ask Dr. Bacolcol for the details on the Dynaslope.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Yung Dynaslope project kasi, well, it's a project dapat may start and may end. And right now, with the Dynaslope project, we are slowly integrating the project sa operation ng opisina. So like yung community dissemination awareness campaigns nila, ina-integrate na namin sa sarili naming division. And yung monitoring nila, we're also integrating them slowly sa monitoring ng opisina. So hindi na sila, the Dinosaur project is under the locally funded project. But again, we are slowly integrating them para kapag may GAA na, hindi na sila separate na budget. Hindi na sila locally funded project.
So to confirm po, there are steps being taken to to expand and institutionalize the project.
That's right, that's right.
Okay. Siguro po, can I ask saan po sila nagfo-fall under what program? Kung basically may phasing out na ng budget to Dynaslope and into the normal functions of the OST. Yeah.
Okay, for example, yung community part, yung seminars, they will become part of the geologic disaster awareness and preparedness program of our division of our institute. And then yung monitoring would be under the seismology division kasi they have this 24-hour monitoring. And then the research part would be part of the geology division because geology is the R&D division of our institute.
Thank you po for that. And several last questions na lang. Bibilisan ko po. It's another project po. Ito naman po yung Geospatial Information and Analysis Project for Hazards and Risk Assessment or GeoRisk-PH. Ang napansin po namin, it saw a 23.37% reduction in its budget from the GAA 2025 to NEP 2026. Though nag-increase yung MOE, yung capital outlay was really removed. So walang funds right now allocated for long-term assets, software, servers, geospatial infrastructure. Bakit po ni-remove yung CO entirely kung yung assets na to important for sustaining accurate hazard risk assessments, lalo na po same reason na lumalala yung pagbaha and nakikita nga natin nyo and sinisuwalat natin in other investigations yung causes ng flooding na to.
I have a response, but let me ask Director Bacolcol because it's under his supervision. Kung nag-propose sila ng capital outlay, Roll call.
Yes, ma'am. Hindi po kami nag-propose ng capital outlay kasi meron ng capital outlay for this year. So kapag na-acquire na yon, we don't need to propose another capital outlay for next year.
Na-acquire po siya when?
Ngayong taon po,
Okay. So, hindi na kayo nag-propose ng additional for...
capital outlay for next year.
Okay. And sufficient na po yun na... Sige pa.
So, just to give a bigger picture, the GRX Philippines initiative was focused only, it started under me when I was still there at VVOX. It focused on disaster and disaster-related data, from hazards to exposure. At the Department of Science and Technology, as part of the Elevate Philippines program, we have this big project called Geospatial Analytics and Technology Solutions Program. And this would have around fund of 568 million for the next 3 years. The GeoRIS will still be part of it, so that, but then we will incorporate climate data from PAGASA and other data from all DOST agencies. So there will be a bigger network of infrastructure where we can actually complement GeoRIS Philippines. So available na yung machine nila, madadagdagan pa sa compute power under the GATES program.
And thank you po for the update. And siguro ang last ko lang na I'd like to share in relation to doon sa DOST scholars, yung pinaka-cusp of the findings that we've had with us, with the consultations na attended by students from Region 1 up to Region 12 is yung problem ng understaffed po yung magbibigay at yung nagdi-disperse ng scholarship funds. Ang sabi nga po is yung ratio is one in charge to 1,000 scholars. Ganun po. So actually, nung narinig ko yung may core group pa na pinaplano, inisip ko paano mangyayari siya kung in the first place, kulang na yung tao as we speak. So ano po ba, may plano po bang magdagdag ng tao, maging in charge nito, in relation sa kung paano to implement on a national level?
Yung core group actually is essentially a combination of DOST and the university person. And since we already have this project where we actually would bring down the money directly to them, at least na bawasan na yung bureaucracy. Pero alam ko, nagdagdag ka ba? Kasi pangako niya sa akin yun.
No, totoo. Again, thank you, Representative Rene, for doing this, yung consultations with our scholars, kasi nakakatulong din yun as another form of social listening for us. We are aware that there are these barriers, what we have done is we have identified several universities or campuses, and where there are no coordinators. So very concretely, for example, with PUP, right? With PUP, where we have about more than 1,000 scholars, we have already signed. We are already setting up a partnership with them, and hopefully we can have our coordinator located right inside. Dati kasi their papers will have to go to SEI directly. So so identifying these concrete barriers on the specific campuses is the step that we have been doing in the past months, and hopefully on this particular campus, those barriers will be dismantled.
And thank you very much for your indulgence. I yield to the floor po, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you, Congressman Ko. Since there's no more interpellator, any motion?
Mr. Chairman, may I move that we terminate the budget briefing of the Department of Science and Technology, including its attached agencies. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second the motion.
Second.
So it has been moved and seconded. The motion is carried.
Mr. Chairman, may I move that we suspend briefing and resume on Monday, September 1, 2025 at 9 a.m. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second the motion, Mr. Chair.
It has been moved and seconded. The briefing is hereby suspended and will resume on Monday, September 1, 2025 at 9 o'clock a.m.
Sir, masahin lang po yung attendance. Attendance lang po natin for this afternoon. Ito po, sir. Thank you very much po. Oo.